I'm Charlie Jones.
And I'm Pat Summerall. And Charlie, as you know, this was the first week in which all teams from both leagues were in action.
The action came in all sizes and shapes, as you well know, Pat, and some of the teams ran true to form as far as their strengths and weaknesses were concerned, but I think you would agree that this week there were more than the usual number of upsets.
I think anytime you go in the first week of a season, you try to expect the unexpected, but in the NFL this week, the surprises came fast and furious, especially in New York, where the Giants met last year's Central Division champion Minnesota Vikings.
It seems that the city of New York had a monopoly on upsets. The other team, the New York Jets, were not as fortunate as the Giants. They traveled to Denver. They played in the Mile High Stadium. They received a welcome ill-befitting their position as last year's Super Bowl champions.
Every coach remembers certain games from his past. For Alex Webster, few memories will ever compare with that of his very first game as head coach of the New York Giants. Fully aware that the Giants would be emotionally supercharged, the Vikings began like the champions they are. Clint Jones set up Minnesota's first score with a kickoff return of 71 yards. Reliable Fred Cox, number 14, gave the Vikings their first 3 points of 1969. Early in the second quarter, number 15, quarterback Gary Quazzo found wide receiver John Henderson floating lonely as a cloud. Less than 5 minutes later, Quazzo also found the Vikings' most potent long-range weapon, wide receiver Gene Washington, who accounted for over 150 yards and one very easy touchdown. From the viewpoint of a defensive back, another look at one of sport's most devastating moments. While Quazzo was throwing bombs, Fran Tarkenton was otherwise occupied by Carl Eller and Minnesota's notoriously annoying defensive line. At the half, the Vikings rested comfortably on a 2-touchdown pad. In the second half, Alex Webster's team began to look like the Giants Webster once played for. First, Tarkenton threw to a receiver named Jones. Once again, from the viewpoint of the defensive backfield, 220 pounds of Goldward-bound energy. In the fourth period, the Giant defense began to assert itself. On a 3rd and 9 play, Fran Tarkenton passed perfectly to number 85. Don Herman, a rookie from Waynesburg State College. And New York was behind by only 6 points with 5 minutes to play. The Giant defense again stopped the Vikings, and New York had one final chance for victory. The game's most critical play occurred at the Viking 43 with 2 minutes remaining in the game. 3rd down, 17 yards to go. The Giants' 51st consecutive sellout crowd awaited Alex Webster's decision. To some, the season still looked very long. Then it happened, as only Fran Tarkenton could make it happen. A desperation scramble. A desperation heave. A desperation leap by 2 Giants and 2 Vikings. And suddenly there was the ball in the hands of tight end Butch Wilson at the Viking 10. 59 seconds to play. A rookie coach named Alex Webster will never forget a rookie receiver named Don Herman. Webster and the Giants had their first victory in 10 games since last November. Their first in 15 games against the Western Conference. Their first ever against the Vikings. 15th round choice Don Herman seemed to speak for all rookies when he said, "The toughest team I ever played against before was Fairmont State. These guys are a lot better." The moment belonged to the young, but most of all, it belonged to a big, likable redhead named Alex Webster.
Kobe Bryant.
The young, untamed Broncos of Coach Lou Saban were determined to blast the New York Jets for the third straight year. The young Denver defense is led by middle linebacker John Heward, defensive tackle Dave Costa, and defensive end Rich Tombstone Jackson, number 87. These young men will give anyone a harrowing afternoon, and the bigger they are, the harder they fall. The Jets defense is led by Jerry Philbin, John Elliott, and Verlin Biggs. They, too, can spoil a quarterback's composure. Number 13, Steve Tinsey, was forced to watch most of the game from the safety of the sidelines. At the start, Super Bowl heroes Joe Namath and number 41, Matt Snell, made ground eating look simple. Number 31, original Titan Bill Mathis, didn't get far, but just far enough. After one quarter, New York led comfortably 13-0. In the second quarter, rookie Steve O'Neill blasted a pro record 98-yard punt, but Floyd Little, number 44, didn't feel that one. This time was different. Behind a block by number 39 fullback Tom Smiley, Little put the Broncos on the scoreboard. Moments later, quarterback Pete Lisk initiated one of the plays of this or any other year. Number 84 is a second-year wide receiver from UCLA named Mike Hafner. That name might be worth remembering. Mike Hafner. Here again is the play which put the Broncos ahead of the world champions. At the half, it was New York 13, Denver 14. In the third quarter, Floyd Little tore free again. Unfortunately for the Broncos, Little was forced to leave with a painful shoulder injury. Leading the league after 2 consecutive 100-plus weeks, Floyd Little seems to be nearing the super status so many have predicted for it. But the Broncos carried on. Pete Lisk, once traded from the Jets by Weeb Ewbank, again threw long. Al Denson left Cornell Gordon grasping the air as the Broncos built their lead to 21-13. But the Jets still had time to come back. On 3rd and long, Namath passed to George Sauer for 24 yards. After surviving a crunching blow by Dave Costa, Namath threw to running back Emerson Boozer for 25 more yards. Namath again passed to a running back, this time to Mr. Everything, Matt Snell, who carried 17 yards to the Denver 3. Namath then handed off to Boozer, who followed Dave Herman to a touchdown. Still needing 2 points to tie, Ewbank sent in Babe Pirelli with a play. Carl Cunningham rushed Pirelli, and it was all over. The largest crowd in Colorado sports history had seen their Broncos become champions for a day.
Thing to be involved in an upset. Upsets were so prevalent that it was tough to be the first in your neighborhood. And it's hard to believe that after only 2 weeks of play, both teams that participated in last year's Super Bowl have been beaten.
The NFL champion Baltimore Colts opened the new season with an old face at quarterback, Johnny Unitas. The Los Angeles Rams spoiled Johnny's return when Myron Patios intercepted Unitas' third pass and returned it to the Ram 32. Roman Gabriel teamed with Wendell Tucker to move the Rams into Baltimore territory. Bruce Gossett's field goal gave the Rams a 3-0 lead at the end of the first quarter. In the second period, a Unitas to Tom Mitchell touchdown pass put the Colts ahead 7-3. Roman Gabriel sparked Los Angeles to its first touchdown by throwing first to Larry Smith, number 38, a rookie from Florida. Gabriel followed up with a rollout pass to tight end Billy Truax. Two plays later, Gabriel returned to Truax, this time for a touchdown and a 3-point lead for Los Angeles. Late in the second quarter, Preston Pearson pulled in a Unitas pass and raced to the Ram 26. With 20 seconds left in the half, Lou Michaels tied up the game with a 15-yard field goal. In the second half, Unitas passed the Colts into the lead with a 41-yard touchdown strike to veteran Jimmy Orr. Larry Smith opened another Ram offensive when he broke through Baltimore on a 38-yard run. The Rams tied the game again as Gabriel tossed to Willie Ellison for a score. The Los Angeles defense provided the game's turning point when Captain Eddie Metter picked off a Colt pass and returned it to the Baltimore 11. Gossett's second field goal gave the Rams a 3-point lead in the fourth quarter. Gabriel added some insurance midway in the final period with his third touchdown pass. This one to Wendell Tucker, and it finalized the score at Rams 27, the champion Colts 20. Opening day 1969, the year the Falcon eluded fate. The Atlanta Falcons finally won on opening day. By forcing more turnovers than they would allow, the Falcons upset the San Francisco 49ers 24-12. However, early in the game, a Falcon foible placed Atlanta in a 5-3 deficit. This was to be the Falcons' only flaw. For the next 3 quarters, they dominated play, and 2 rookies were primarily responsible for their success. Jim Mitchell, number 86, a tight end from Prairie View A&M, caught touchdowns from quarterback Bob Berry and resembled Baltimore's John Mackey on a 40-yard end-around play that set up yet another score. Rookie Paul Gibson, number 40, rushed for a 13-yard average and led a running attack that gained 230 yards. But only by stifling the 49ers with 3 key interceptions was Atlanta able to achieve its first victory ever over a Coastal Division rival. It may not be their last. It took the Detroit Lions 55 minutes to score a touchdown against the underdog Pittsburgh Steelers. This, coupled with 2 field goals, gave the Lions a 4-point lead. With only 4 minutes to play, the Steelers struck back, moving primarily on the running and receiving of number 87, flanker Roy Jefferson. Rookie Warren Bankston shook off 3 defenders en route to the game-winning touchdown for the Steelers and an opening day victory for new coach Chuck Noll.
The Cincinnati Bengals are young. Youth is Greg Cook, the Bengals' 22-year-old rookie quarterback who can fake, pass, and run with the best. So much so that Coach Paul Brown says Cook will one day be another Otto Graham. Cook has in 2 weeks taken giant strides toward fulfilling that prophecy. Last week he beat Miami. This week he and his teammates upset the San Diego Chargers. John Hadl is the generation gap. Though not quite 30, Hadl was today fated to be the villain. The confident master against the green rookie. The square father against the hip kid with long hair. Today, the kid and his cohorts would strike another blow for youth. The Chargers' youth is epitomized by number 22, Dickie Post. Post gained a career high of 147 yards today. 60 of them on his cross-field jaunt that set up a field goal. Post can run both inside and out, and today was one of only 2 bright spots in San Diego's offense. The other was number 27, Gary Garrison, the Chargers' flashy receiver, who set up 1 Charger touchdown with this spectacular catch. Brad Hubbard's 2-yard run gave San Diego a 13-10 lead with 1.5 minutes left in the half. Greg Cook needed only 50 seconds to go 70 yards and regain the lead for Cincinnati, showing the poise that made him such a highly touted rookie. In the 3rd quarter, the Chargers pressed hard on the youthful spine of the Bengal defense, but Paul Brown has in little over a year molded both a talented and confident defensive unit that has so far been able to make the big play when needed. On 4th down from the 6th, defender Ken Riley helped save a touchdown that was perhaps the key play of the game. Poise under pressure. This is the quality Greg Cook seems to possess. A poise that belies his age. He and receiver Bob Trumpy, number 84, put Cincinnati ahead by 11 on this 78-yard score. But alas, Cook was fallible. Youth got the best of him for one short-lived moment in the game, and it cost him dearly. It didn't take him long to rebound, however, and the 11-point lead was regained on this 61-yard pass and run to yet another first-year man, Bruce Casler. It was now 31-20. In the final period, Hadl and Garrison combined for yardage, but not for touchdowns. The Bengals added a field goal to make it 34-20, and all that remained was to observe the Chargers' own version of the youth quake, rookie quarterback Marty Domrus. Domrus showed his stuff, but Greg Cook, the Bengals, and Coach Paul Brown showed the pro football world that Cincinnati has come of age. Feature on some behind-the-scenes aspect of pro football. This week, we take you to summer camp, where the players sweat and suffer to earn the satisfaction of making the team.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Oh, I can do 100 straight. Robert. Go, Robert. Right shoulder, on set. Set! Hut! Hut! There it is, Willie, there it is. Come on. Go slow. He's too slow to the hole. Matsumoto, get it in there. Hey, that's the way to put it in there. Come on. Come on. Come on, Bill. Keep driving, Kel. Atta boy. All right. So the worst thing that could happen, Claude, when you go down all the way like that, is that you're down and you're head up like that, right? If you're head up, you got a stalemate. He's not going to lick you then. But if it happens this way, where he is under you, then he's got you beat. You're up in the air and he's got you licked. So if you look the head in there and his head goes down, then you're going to go down with him and you keep the feet moving. You at least got a stalemate and your back can go over the top. You can go to that crack or this crack. All right, baby. Way to run, Jerry. We've had 3 ball carriers fall down just because they've got their legs hit. Stay on your feet. Let's go. I want you guys boom, boom, boom with those bangs. Hut. Come on. What the hell are you, a bullfighter? You're not an old way thing. You block the man. You understand? You're hitting. We don't pussyfoot around here. You hit people. Let's go. You're ready, Ryan. Darn it.
Good.
Okay. Woo, baby. All right. You're up here on him. See, you're up here. He's too big and too strong up here. Get right down here. Now you're loaded, see? You're loaded for him. Now he's got to move your strength. You're fighting him up here where he's the strongest. Go! Set! Stay with it, Chuck. Stay with it, Chuck. Stay with it. Stop him. Stop him.
Rocky James.
Sir?
I hadn't seen anybody slow this man down yet. Take it again. Seems you can't slow this man down up here on the line of scrimmage. We can't get the ball off. Not only is he back there, he's taking our guards back there with us.
Yes, sir.
Question, if you don't want to play, let me know and I'll save you all this agony. If you want to play, you better start blocking this man. All right, here's your count right here. Let's go.
Come on now.
Go!
You got him, man. You got him. Go on, man.
Go! Stop him, Elmer! Stop him!
Oh,
Stay with
yeah.
him, Elmer! Stay with him!
Push him, Bobby.
You throw him down. Get over and get him. He's roll back there and get to the passer. Don't stay on the line of scrimmage. Get back there and play football.
Hello there. The beginning of each season is the novelty of seeing new faces as well as old faces in new surroundings. It's always interesting to follow the progress of a new coach or a favorite rookie. And it's equally as interesting to watch a veteran coach like Vince Lombardi or John Rauch reacting to a new challenge. We'll be seeing these faces, new and old, in a moment.
This new, if familiar face was hired by the Washington Redskins to provide leadership. To accomplish this end, Vince Lombardi coaxed linebacker Sam Huff out of retirement to utilize his defensive and leadership qualities. But on opening day in New Orleans, Saints quarterback Bill Kilmer, number 17, was also holding leadership seminars. Early in the first quarter, Kilmer was firing strikes, and his bullets thrust New Orleans into a 10-0 lead despite Washington's stacked defense. The Redskins' offensive machine is oiled by slick Sonny Jurgensen, who seems to already be in midseason form. His pass to Bob Long covered 52 yards. Jurgensen then found Charlie Taylor about 10 feet above the end zone, and the score became 10-7. The Saints fumbled the ensuing kickoff, and Sonny ended the agony of it swiftly with another pass. This one to Jerry Smith, number 87. But the Saints were not out of it. Number 48, Andy Livingston, broke the Saints' rushing record with 142 yards. Unfortunately, most of it was between the 20-yard line, as the Redskin defense was able to come up with the big play when necessary, a trait heretofore lacking in recent Redskin teams. With shoddy pass protection, Jurgensen can hurt you. With good protection, he'll kill you every time. This 51-yard play to Charlie Taylor gave the Redskins a 21-13 edge late in the third quarter. But Billy Kilmer doesn't give up easily, and he drove himself harder and harder in order to secure victory. This effort, however valiant, was not enough. The end of the game showed the Redskins on top 26-20, and Lombardi again left the field a winner, the only way he feels comfortable.
The Oakland Raiders, a poised veteran ball club, have the newest and youngest head coach in 33-year-old John Madden. It's nice to take over a championship club, but it's tough to keep it there. The Dolphins as a team are very young, but their exuberance led them to substantial gains in the first quarter. Then their youth betrayed them. Number 35, Stan Mitchell, hesitated for a split second, and number 45, Dave Grayson, picked up the deflection and escorted his third interception of the season into the end zone for his first touchdown. Not convinced they couldn't win, the Dolphins drove the length of the field to tie the game on Jim Kick's one-yard plunge. Several drop passes forced the Raiders to settle for a second quarter field goal by George Blanda. On his next possession, LaMonica stayed on the ground, and 4 consecutive plays netted 68 yards. LaMonica then fooled the Dolphins with this 13-yard pass to Fred Biletnikoff that put the Raiders up 17-7. Setback Jim Kick then fooled the Raiders by running through and over them. And the second-year man from Wyoming ignited the Dolphins back into the game. A Dolphin field goal tied the score moments later, and it stood at 17 apiece until the final seconds of the game. A pass to Warren Wells, and the Raiders are in field goal range. George Blanda was reading defenses before many of the Dolphins were reading anything. It's not easy to kick a 46-yard field goal with a 42-year-old leg, but somehow he keeps doing it. Happiness is being 9 years older than the coach and winning the game for him, as Miami's Mod Squad took it on the chin from old but not lonesome George, 20-17. In Philadelphia, the hometown Eagles seem to have the jitters in front of their new coach, Jerry Williams. Rookies and veterans alike dropped no less than half a dozen crucial passes. Mistakes were especially costly, since the solid Cleveland defense wasn't allowing any breaks.
super rookie Leroy Keys, number 20, couldn't find more than 9 yards of daylight all afternoon. But the Eastern Division champion Browns, who had as many as 6 rookies in the lineup during the game, managed to execute the important plays with the seasoned teamwork of vets. Rookies like number 43, Fair Hooker, were in the right place to grind out the crucial middle yardage. Veteran Leroy Kelly pulled a hamstring early in the game, but the new Brown backfield kept on rolling. Second-year man Reese Morrison, number 26, performed all the basic recipes exceptionally well, and then added some icing with a setup to veteran Milt Morin, number 89. Behind the dependable, hard Cleveland blocking, number 1 draft choice Ron Johnson, number 30, looked a lot like Leroy Kelly. He scored twice and gained 118 yards as the Browns smoothly executed their way to a 27-7 lead. Then in the fourth period, veteran safety Joe Scarpati, number 21, showed his jittery teammates how to hang on to the ball, and the Eagles began a Cinderella comeback. Quarterback Norman Snead kept his cool under the Brown rush and hit veteran receiver Ben Hawkins, number 18. The Hawks streaked by rookie Walt Sumner, but it was too late. Steady execution had beaten jittery nerves, and the Browns won it 27-20.
Buffalo was no place for super rookies last Sunday, or any other offensive specialist for that matter. Houston's powerful front four sacked quarterback Jack Kemp 6 times for a total of minus 59 yards. When the job was handed over to the amazing O.J. Simpson, number 32, his swivel hips didn't help. There wasn't an inch of Houston daylight in which to operate. Even when the Buffalo line managed to hold off the Oiler rush, all the Bill receivers had close company. Jack Kemp was intercepted 3 times, twice by alert safety Ken Houston, number 29. For a long while, only the defenses looked exciting. They even tried a little razzle-dazzle themselves. Oiler quarterback Pete Beathard used his running back number 36, Roy Hopkins, a 3-year unknown, to get things moving. But the Bills' defense was as tough as their Oiler counterparts. But the Beathard-Hopkins combo proved the best thing on the field when they found a leak and connected for 56 yards to set up a fourth-period score. But most of the contest was fought in the trenches. The only other score of the game came on a 12-yard strike to rangy tight end Alvin Reed, number 89. On a day where the defense beat the offense, Houston squeaked out a low-scoring 17-3 victory.
In the 101st renewal of their semi-annual bloodletting. There is no division physically tougher than the Central Division, and no team tougher than the Chicago Bears. The Bears' rough-and-tumble style of defense blended nicely with the Packers' own brand of defensive crunch. However, the most destructive defender of all stood only 6'1" and weighed but 190 pounds. After the brawl, the Packers awarded the game ball to number 43, Doug Hart, whose fierce collisions with Chicago receivers and 2 interceptions led Green Bay to a convincing 17-0 shutout victory. Green Bay coupled its stingy defense with an awesome ground attack led by veteran fullback Jim Grabowski. Grabowski rammed and bucked his way for 85 yards rushing, while two young setbacks documented Packer depth at the running backs. Young Dave Hampton's instant accelerations accounted for 36 yards on just 6 carries, while Travis Williams gained 67 more and scored the Pack's first touchdown on a swing pass from Bart Starr. In victory, the Packers showed that they may well indeed be back. But their survival in the Central Division depends on the health of their brittle-bodied General Bart Starr. After 2 years in the Army, Cardinal quarterback Charlie Johnson won his job back. Against the Cowboys, Johnson, throwing mainly to Jackie Smith and number 80 Dave Williams, moved the Cardinals almost effortlessly. However, when it came time to convert their opportunities into points, St. Louis could manage but 3 points all day. In one preseason game, quarterback Roger Staubach scrambled for 118 yards, but Dallas lost. Against the Cardinals, Staubach rarely strayed from the comfort of the pocket, and the Cowboys won. At times, the 27-year-old rookie quarterback took a fearful beating from the Cardinals, who dumped him 6 times for losses. But in the end, it was Staubach who delivered the most punishment. In the first half alone, 2 of his bombs accounted for 140 yards. One was a 66-yard strike to Dennis Homan, who was subbing for injured Bob Hayes. The other was a 75-yard shot to Lance Rensel for a first-quarter touchdown that was all the scoring the Cowboys needed to ensure victory over the Cardinals. Rensel's second touchdown came on the Cowboys' very favorite play, the option pass. Triple threat rookie Calvin Hill disguised the play beautifully, then unlimbered a 53-yard toss to Rensel, who was all alone when the ball arrived. Staubach scored the final touchdown on a rollout to ensure a surprisingly easy 24-3 Cowboy victory. It was a big day for Dallas and their rookie quarterback, as they took their first giant step in their quest for a 3rd consecutive Capital Division title.
Graham believes in a certain style of football. And in Boston last Sunday, the Patriots found out that the Chiefs have learned it well. When the Kansas City offense took the field, their style exuded a smoothness born of confidence, a ruggedness born of power. by number 16 quarterback Lynn Dawson, they scored in patterns that flowed with liquid grace. Or led by Robert the Tank Holmes, they scored with bruising stubbornness. Perhaps the Chiefs' offensive style was best exemplified by the flashing legs of number 1, Nolan Smith, who returns a punt with all the dazzle available in 154 pounds of quicksilver. Perhaps their style rested in the deft hands of number 89, Otis Taylor, whose confidence and poise helped put Kansas City ahead 14-0. While the offensive game was fluid, the Chiefs' defensive style was frenetic and effective. Led by number 75, Jerry Mays, and number 63, Willie Lanier, they pounded the Patriots into submission, allowing them only 100 yards in total offense for the entire game. Mike Garrett ran wild as he scored 2 touchdowns and provided a controlled consistency to the Chiefs' ground game. Once he had decided where he wanted to be, determination got him there. The 31-0 thrashing convinced the Patriots that in Kansas City they do things with style. And it's a style that spells trouble for the rest of the American Football League.
This season marks the 50th anniversary of pro football, and it seems to me that each year crowds get bigger, play gets more exciting, and records continue to fall.
Pat, that's true, and there was a record set last Sunday in Denver, and of course the altitude may have had something to do with it, and that was the 98-yard punt by the New York Jets' Steve O'Neill. The previous record was 94 yards. It was set in the dawn of professional football by Wilbur Fat Henry. He played for your old team, I believe, the Canton Bulldogs in 1923.
I played with him, Charlie. I guess that record was on the books for a while, but as this week's results show, you never can tell about anything in this game. And looking at some of next week's games, like Baltimore at Minnesota, San Francisco at Green Bay, and the Jets at San Diego, I don't see a sure thing in sight.
Last Sunday, almost half of the games in professional football were upsets. I would suggest it might be a little early in the season for either you or I to go out on a limb.
Might be, Jones.
I'm Charlie Jones.
I'm Pat Summerall. See you next week.